Oh boy, kids, it's Sigil. It's out. How'd you get this video done so early, Civvie? Did you buy the premium collector's edition? Did you work some of that YouTube influencer magic? No, I bought it. See, they were selling the soundtrack, but the soundtrack comes with the WAD, so you get the WAD when you pay 6.66 euros, because of course you do. Me, on brand. Everybody else can wait until it's free on May 31st. I was gonna do that, but, you know, it's Sigil. So here we go. I just gotta enter my credit card information here. There we go. So Sigil ain't half bad. It has some problems. It's absolutely a dick in some places. I mean, come on, it's Romero.
Oh, not even real. Seriously?
There's two of these guys?
This decision to have all the maps end with this here instead of a switch confused me at the beginning, but since all the levels end like this, yeah, it's irritating at first. This end section of level 1 is just bad. The game is full of traps, and if you try to run through it and avoid fights, you will be punished. Here's the thing, I played through this twice, first on Ultraviolence, then on Hurt Me Plenty. I suggest everyone watching this start with Hurt Me Plenty. That part at the end of level 1, what a difference one cacodemon makes. Sigil came with 2 different sets of music, the Buckethead soundtrack, which is high-quality instrumental. It's good, I like it. And also a MIDI soundtrack by James Paddock, which is also really good. Listen to it. How metal is this? Look at some of the names of these maps. Baphomet's Demence. I don't know what that word is, don't at me.
Domain. Domain. Domain.
Oh, fuck. Sheol. Cages of the Damned. Paths of Wretchedness. Abaddon's Void. Unspeakable Persecution. That's my favorite name out of the bunch. Truly an accurate moniker for... You guys notice I walked in and the sky went out? The levels are almost constantly engaging, throwing things at you left and right, using cyber demons as rocket turrets when you absolutely won't have the ammo to deal with them. Just like in E4M2 though, you can telefrag them if you're paying attention. And the cyber demons that you have to telefrag in the 2nd and 5th level only appear when you're playing on Ultraviolence or higher. This is meant to be pretty tough, and it is. And I was surprised at how well the Doom 1 monsters were used since there isn't a lot to work with. On Ultraviolence, you have to be very careful with resource management, and there are a few times you'll be stuck shotgunning Barons of Hell, though if you save your rockets and cells for them, say you have 2 or 3 Barons of Hell to deal with, you should be able to knock that down to 1 that you have to slow roll to death. On Hurt Me Plenty, it's a lot more forgiving and you'll find yourself with enough rockets or cells to deal with the tougher enemies. This trap was a ball buster, but the feeling of being surprised, followed by panic, followed by one last-minute save because of a Berserk pack is quintessentially Doom. I don't really care for these crusher rooms. Like, you can avoid them here. There's enough room. If you keep your eyes open, you'll see where you can step and where you can't. See these places where there are monsters, the crushers aren't activated. I don't know how many crushers is too many, but that point is reached somewhere before however many this is. I stopped to take care of these monsters so I wouldn't get dead, and also I assume that as soon as I open this door, it's gonna cause me even more problems, so I kill the monsters and wait, and the door itself is set up to stall you so that you can't just run past the monsters. There are a lot of times where you will wake up monsters before they're triggered to teleport in, or their closet opens, meaning they'll be hunting you down in the map as soon as they're able to. Sigil has a deliberately oppressive atmosphere to it that I think works well most of the time. I don't even think you see daylight until the third map. Now I want to talk about Sigil's visual design, which is for the most part striking and spectacular, shocking in what it's able to do with Doom's stock textures. You can really see the effort put into these maps, the detail, the attention paid to how encounters flow. Somebody gave John Romero Doom Builder and a limit removing port and he just went nuts, which is all we could really hope for. The cracks here are the biggest recurring motif, sometimes highlighting the edges of levels, sometimes in the floors or walls of dark areas to give you a better idea of the layout. It doesn't always work. Level 6 is way too goddamn dark, but I can easily see what Sigil is going for. You can still see the monsters in a lot of places, especially in the final area, because of their silhouettes against these bright environmental details. I'm torn on the lighting because on the one hand I want to see everything, but on the other, setting this to legacy or bright is too much and ruins the atmosphere for me, so it stays on True Color software. There's this area that I didn't really care for, having a shotgun a couple barons. You should know going in that Ultraviolence isn't fucking around. There's 3 barons down there on Ultraviolence, and I had to shotgun them for the most part, but this was the only time I was really required to do that. Cacodemons, sure, I had to shotgun them all the time. The final fight was a bit of a letdown, a spider demon and a cyber demon. I had no real problem doing it since they jack you up with the soul sphere and Sigil tends to give you enough cell ammo in the last couple levels if you're actively looking for it. Anyway, yeah, extremely dark, which isn't too much of a problem most of the time if you're paying attention to sound and visuals. All that being said, I do have one major problem with Sigil, which is these eye triggers. I don't mind them being there since the very first level teaches you how they work without any ambiguity, and only like 1 or 2 of them were in irritating places I had to really search for. No, problem is that it seems like most of them have 2 triggers attached to them. One to access the next area, and another to close off the switch. Unfortunately, every now and then you might hit one of those triggers without hitting the other, which stops you dead in your tracks and breaks the game. This happened once during each of my playthroughs and is bullshit, but it's so easy to fix that I could do it. Overall, I like Sigil. It's mostly a good time and uses Doom 1 assets really well to create a darker and more sinister atmosphere than you'd see in the original Doom. The music certainly helps. How often does a game come with 2 good soundtracks? The pacing on Hurt Me Plenty is more old-school Doom, while Ultraviolence is absolutely ball-crushing. I mean, I have a theory, call it crackpot if you want, but hear me out. Just like me, you all got Sigil, you booted it up, and you went straight for Ultraviolence. Here's a fun fact about Doom levels. You can't actually place monsters and items differently on Nightmare compared to Ultraviolence. See? Romero's trolling us. Because Hurt Me Plenty is way, way different. Night and day. Like Hurt Me Plenty plays like a Doom episode. Ultraviolence starves you of resources to the point where you don't even have enough fucking radiation suits to get through hurt floors. There is a big difference between incompetent design and deliberate evil. John Romero played off of our hubris. There's irony in that, and you know what? I gotta respect it. It's a good burn. Shit like this is why John Romero is a legend. I'll tell you right now, I think Sigil's gonna be divisive. I'm gonna give it 8 Old English words I've never heard of out of 10. Somebody give Romero a copy of Trench Broom.